Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome to Simbanest Radio, sauti ya mwananchi. Tukiwa mwenzako hapa Uncle Sam, tuko na wageni na tunatarajia ya kuwa mmeamka salama. We believe that you have started the morning in the right way. The moods are up. Kama jiu siko chini, sema yo. Sauti itakuwa inaongezeka na itakuwa sawa sawa vile tunaendelea. So kwa hii muda, let us start with our morning in a great spirit as we welcome our brother, Mr. Tony Winston Eboy, with an organization called the Brand Coach Network. Now, Bwana Winston, karibu sana.
Asante sana Uncle Sam.
Asante sana. Karibu.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy to be here today.
Thank you very much. Now, usongee tu karibu na machine ya microphone. Because the lapel ones they're somewhere outside.
Okay.
Nevertheless, Bwana Winston, karibu sana.
Nashukuru.
Yes. Bwana Winston, can you tell us about yourself on this Brand Coach Network?
Well, hi everyone. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Winston Eboy. I prefer to say I'm a full-time storyteller. Why storytelling? Storytelling technically is the future of personal brand building. So I offer myself through the Brand Coach Network by way of training individuals and organizations on how they can use storytelling as a magnet for opportunity. Yeah, that would be me in brief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you study? Where do you come from in Kenya? Where do you study? I thought the story would be longer.
Okay. Well, I prefer to make.
Normally just want to know.
Oh, okay. Everything
like
at a go.
Yes.
Okay.
A feel of the person.
I prefer to make the story short so that I have such questions.
Okay. That's also quite. That's allowed.
Yes.
Yeah. That's allowed.
Oh, okay.
So, where do you come from in this side, which side of Kenya, and so on and so on?
Okay. I prefer most of the time to treat myself as a virtual citizen, technically meaning I'm not limited by borders.
Okay.
Because we live in the information age,
yes.
in the internet. So technically that would mean I would offer my services and presence across the globe. But my primary home is in Vihiga County.
Vihiga. But
then I'm based.
That's where you grew up.
Exactly. That is where I owe my ancestry from. Yeah, but then I grew up in different spaces.
Okay.
But that is technically where the story begins from. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then you do your school.
Yeah, I schooled around Vihiga in primary school, and interestingly, my story for brand coaching owes its origin in primary school. It's a story that I can come to back later. Yes, excellent. And then fast forward, I went to Chavakali Boys, which was apparently one of the best schools in that side of the region. And then fast forward, Nairobi came calling, so I moved to Nairobi almost on a full-time scale. And there I was being a student and at the same time being in the space of work, which is something I'll explain deeper. So I did a few courses here and there before settling for project management, and then later on doing entrepreneurship at Strathmore, and then fast forward settling in the whole totality of the world of work through the Brand Coach Network.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Simbanest Radio, sauti ya mwananchi. In case you are hearing us only on the voice handle that is on our web station line link, then you can also get us on YouTube. Go to Simbanest Media and you'll get the same conversation going on. You will see us live. Similarly, you will see us on TikTok. On TikTok, it will come again a link that is only voice. And Facebook too. Facebook use the handle Simbanest Radio. So Winston, karibu sana. As we go along now, we are starting to open the ground for you.
Okay.
To say the floor is yours. Tell us about Brand Coach Network.
Well, in summary, the Brand Coach Network would be, I would say, storytelling-led capacity building ecosystem that gives individuals and organizations a platform to move from identity to income and legacy, finally. So how we do that is again through different programs and offerings, but then it will depend with where exactly you are as an individual, and then a conversation of where you want to go next, and then that's how we come on board with regards to how can we help you with that journey. But then in summary, it's technically anchored on your skills, the story you have, and the kind of strategy you employ into saving and helping the world as you help yourself. Yes.
So like, say for example, you have identified a need. Let's say for example, you see, I've not told you the full story about Simba Nest. Simba Nest was driven more by the welfare of the community.
Okay.
That even as much as what we are right now, it addresses issues across the globe, only working on the wage, or would I say the age brackets, and profiling in terms of incomes and whatever, so that we can say basically most of our audience are people who are aspiring to be to the next level. But still, we had our roots as in Comoros World Estates Alliance. And we believe that is what we are answerable to. That the leaders of Comoros World, the leaders of Comoros location in Nairobi, once upon a time sat down and say, we want to do a program which is beneficial to us. That is how the idea of radio came. We want to have conversations with our youth. Initially, it was called a seminar and train people. Call the same seminar and hear them out, because the conversation is two-way. One way is to train them, impart what you know to them. But the other part which people normally ignore is you want to listen to them. You want to know
to involve
why
them.
the way that is the thing. You remember the Gen Z? What happened?
Yeah, exactly. You refuse to involve them.
They were saying,
themselves.
you people, you are just running alone all these years, and we have been watching you, and you are running alone to such an extent that now we are saying, let us put brakes to everything. That is what they did to us. Went to Parliament and even told the mess.
And it was a big story.
Yes, because to them it was like even whatever you discuss at the Parliament has no meaning to us, because it does not address our issues. It does not represent us, and yet the function of a member of Parliament is three. One is to oversee. The other one is to legislate. The other third one is to legislate, that is make rules and whatever, and oversee. And the third one is to represent.
Which is very
so
important.
if you don't know even what I do, how comes it you are going there to represent?
It becomes problematic.
Who exactly are you representing?
Exactly.
And that is why Comoros World Estates Alliance was so concerned that we want it two-way. We want a channel through which we can be imparting knowledge to our younger generation. We can be imparting what we know to the other person who does not know. But we also want to create a channel so that the person who we normally presume does not know, it can be presumption. Because it could be that you, according to your thinking, you're thinking, no, these youths don't know anything. But they also, or you are saying, oh, these boys are behaving very badly, they are smoking lots of substance abuse, I'm going to stop this. But maybe they're also saying, these guys are not listening to us. They are just putting things so tighter and tighter and tighter to us until the only solution or avenue open to us is defiance. So that is how we got ourselves to. So I want to hear now about Brand Coach Network. I want to hear the two sides. The one side is how do you get to listen to them? How do you get that particular audience that you normally say, yes, this is a deal audience, I'm going to start training this team tomorrow? How do you get them?
Awesome. Apparently, I get to like the story of Simba Nest, where it starts from the element of community welfare.
That is true.
But then, interestingly, we have some sort of middle of the road connection with that story, because as I said, our story becomes our infrastructure. But then for us in particular, we are anchored on three elements. Element number one is community, number two is collaboration, number three is coaching. So employing these three elements, these three different worlds, they look like they are fragmented, but then in ideal sense they are very interconnected. So how and where does the story begin? We are on a very robust mission to help scale down the level of unemployment and underemployment in Africa.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit context. Unemployment is at that moment where you totally doesn't have work.
Work at all.
Then underemployment is a scenario where you are in work that does not feel satisfactory. So in most cases you are still looking for opportunity. And that's now where we come in as the Brand Coach Network. So where does this conversation begin? This conversation begins from us conducting once monthly conference called Finding Work Conferences.
Okay.
So Finding Work Conferences technically is forum where we bring together subject matter experts. These are people already in the game doing something with their brands and life. And then we bring individuals at different levels of career growth. These are people maybe who are coming from college, coming from university, just starting off at life, or those people who are in career and looking for progression. So technically we have a conversation on the whole theme of future of work. And then future of work technically is rapidly changing. A lot of
speak closer, slightly closer.
Exactly. Yeah. So as you realize, the future of work is poised to change rapidly and almost every day, with factors such as technology, globalization, geomapping, and whatnot. So with that regard, if you're not well positioned in the future of work, most of the time opportunities will just pass by you without realizing. So now that's why we thought of the Finding Work Conference, which is technically our anchor program. So Finding Work Conference, interestingly, it's a free to attend session that is not directly charged to the participants. We try to make it not charged, so that very many people have the opportunity to at least come on board. Exactly. And they have no reason to say I couldn't make because of the cost and whatnot. But then interestingly, we also have scenarios where people say, you guys were doing the session in town, I didn't have transport to come to town. So challenges will always be there.
Challenges will always be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Human beings being who they are.
Exactly. They will at least one point push you to the wall, give you an area that shows there's a problem I have to solve. Yeah, we are solving a problem, but then other problems come.
There's a problem that we have to solve, or to be exact, there's also lack of commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, because when somebody tells you now he wants you to organize for him a bus fare, say for example from Mathare to Nairobi, to CBD,
it now beats logic
or whatever.
Yeah.
And you are saying Mathare to whatever is about 3 kilometers. About 3 kilometers to 4 kilometers.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the worst case, once if he desired to make that change, then she will just walk. He or she will just
initiative
there
from
must
their
be
side.
That initiative.
Yes.
But you'll find somebody say, oh, I can't make it because bus fare was not provided. Okay, go on.
There becomes a trouble at that point. But anyway, that's said and done. That's part of the conversation. But then for those people who make time to participate in these conversations, this is technically becomes a launching ground to get to do more of SWOT analyzing, to understand what kind of challenges are we dealing with. For example, is the problem writing your CV? Is the problem deciding which category you belong to? And with category, I would say as adults, we have 3 options. Option number 1 is to find a job. Option number 2 is to go into entrepreneurship if you are a creative. Option number 3, which is very common, is where people have a day job and then they have a side hustle. So having decided these 3 worlds, then you get to understand how then do you brand yourself for either of the 3 worlds respectively. So at that position, then we would now be in a position to understand those who want to find a job, what exactly are you supposed to deal with? Maybe writing a CV, coaching yourself on interviews, applying to as many opportunities as possible, etc. And if you're cut for business, again the question comes, how then do you develop your profile? For example, what kind of networks do you create? Who do you talk to? Where do you start? etc. And then when you go to the side of you have a day job and you're also toying with the idea of side hustle, again, how do you balance the 2 worlds so that you have a work-life balance and then one thing does not grow at the expense of the other. Yeah, so you technically have a balance and then everything grows to the maximum and your potential is also put to task. So with having these conversations with people, you realize you're helping them technically on a very long-term strategy, which is creating a roadmap for themselves for the next level of their conversation. So at this position now is where now we shift the gear to the conversation of story, strategy, and skill. So you have now realized what kind of skills do you have, and then what kind
let's
of
come again, story, strategy.
Yeah, so let's make it congruent. We start with skills,
skills,
and then you have a story around your skill sets, and then you have a strategy to combine your skill to story, and then grow towards significance.
Now significant.
Exactly. So that's the kind of trajectory. And you see where it's starting from. We're starting from us converging, having these conversations, and then realizing, asking ourselves, what can we do with this information? So with that, again, now individuals have an option to self-study, or rather join our many programs that we offer to them with regards to now where do you go from here. Yeah, so very fast, there's a program we have called Bridge to Work. Bridge to Work technically is for those people who are pro-career. You want to build a career. So we technically give you now a trajectory on how to brand yourself and how to grow. The way they will ask you in the interview, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So we help you answer such questions. And then we have another program called BAS, BAAS, that is Brand as a Service. Brand as a Service is a program technically made for those people who have interest in enterprising, becoming entrepreneurial, and then we tell them now you are the business, you are the brand, so you become the business. So you brand yourself around the very many skills you have, and then we teach you several monetization avenues available
that
for
you. Can now make it so that it brings money to you.
Exactly. So that's technically part of the conversation as we progress to the next level, as we grow together.
That's great.
Yes.
As we started the conversation, you told me that there is, first of all, a conference.
Yeah.
Because for you to source these people, there is, first of all, a conference. Which is organized somewhere.
Exactly.
You try as much as possible to make it free.
Yeah.
So how do you get financing for this venue? Say, for example, you said you're going to meet in some hotel in Accra town or wherever it is.
Okay, so when I was starting the conversation, I told you about this idea of community, collaboration, and coaching. So we are really anchored on collaboration. Collaboration technically involves partnerships. So right now, we are reaching out to as many institutions and partners as possible, including but not limited to universities. So what normally would happen, for example, we would do the Finding Work conference at a select university, such as, for example, Moi University. So technically, Moi University becomes our host partner
for that, event.
Yeah, that would mean we have now cut on cost for cost of renting a space for.
That's brilliant.
And then naturally the student body now are part of the audience, and now they are the direct beneficiaries. But then right now we are in a strong partnership with the American Corner in Nairobi, where they give us a space to host this conference, which falls on the last Friday of every month, once monthly. Then that does not mean we cannot customize, because the whole point could be there's a person who is interested and they want us to do a session for them. We technically work on logistics and do this even if it's not the last Friday of the month. Yes.
That is great. That is great. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Simba Nest Radio, Sauti ya Mwananchi. Our numbers 0728091656. Very important conversation that we are having with Mr. Tony Eboy, and I really feel our youth should take a pen and paper and start listening very carefully, so that we get this man, because this man has got a great story, and if you let go and take him casually, then somebody told me that was called Les Brown. Les Brown says, if you live casually, you will die like a casualty. That is, you just die like an accident, and people will forget about it within the next 20 minutes. So I would urge every youth listening to us right now, and I can see the numbers are there, the numbers are rising. Please take a paper and pen and let us get the details straight. You are saying that these conversations continuously go on every last Friday of the month.
Yeah, exactly. Or the whole position is As I said, we are about community, collaboration and coaching. So the whole idea is at times you would come to our physical event, which is a plus. But then for those people who might not be in a position to come to these events, we also exist virtually. We have a 360 digital presence that cuts across LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, groups, Telegram, etc. So you can technically just go find us in these spaces, follow us online, so that whenever you are not in a position to come to a physical conversation we are engaging, you automatically would benefit by virtue of being in the digital space. So yes, the conversation starts and doesn't stop. Yep.
That's great. That's great. I hope you are listening to that. The conversation starts and people converge and meet. You know, the initiation.
Yeah.
The initiation has its function.
Yeah, exactly.
Of that chance to come and see somebody who now later you'll be talking to online.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe this will be very important to them and fruitful to them. Yeah. How do you disseminate? Because say, for example, apologies.
Yeah.
No ill will, but this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Okay.
So how do you disseminate to say our next sitting or our next discussion is on Saturday date, and therefore youths, you can gather your youths and make sure that they come over there?
Okay, so now, as I said, we have a 360 digital presence.
Yes.
So technically, we have a very vibrant WhatsApp community, which has a lot of participants. So what and how does this WhatsApp community help? Through that WhatsApp community, we disseminate information with regards to what is coming next, because this is just a tip of the iceberg. Finding Work Conference is just one of the many programs that we run, for example. Then hand above, we also have very many other programs that we are obviously going to talk about, but then the story has to always start from somewhere.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give you a chance now to take us through the next one.
Oh, okay.
You have something else apart from Finding Work Conferences?
Okay. So also, high and above, I initiated what I call the Brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass. So our inaugural session happened 2025 October, but then now for 2026, which is effective this month going forward, we are on a journey to do grassroots to national editions of Finding Work Conferences. We technically have mapped out starting from Vihiga County, going to Kisumu County, going to Kakamega County, going to Eldoret, going to Machakos, going to Nyeri, going to Mombasa, and ending up in Nairobi in September of this year. So this would technically mean we are taking this conversation to the grassroots where the individuals are, without necessarily having to worry that you're supposed to get yourself all the way to Nairobi, for example. So we're making it totally available at the ground. Yes.
It's great. So that is now
the Brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass.
The brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. This one, how do you source them, and what
so for the Brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass, is technically a complete ecosystem. So what is happening? This is a paid for session, and what's happening is we have individuals at different levels, individuals who are like serious about creating their personal brands. So in this essence, we call them SMEs, subject matter experts. So if you are a subject matter expert out there wanting to stand out and stand out boldly, the Brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass is your thing. So what normally happens is it's a full day immersion of storytelling, where we help you find and analyze your identity, package your identity, and technically start on a journey on diverse monetization. So we are also calling on sponsorships and partners to come on board to use this as a visibility platform, even as we reach out to as very many people. Yeah,
it's a workable idea.
Yeah, exactly. So the next edition for Brand Coach Storytelling Masterclass falls on the 18th, which will be happening in Vihiga County. More details will be coming in addition to that.
In due course.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are making good progress, and sisi tunataka pali tumemaliza, si ni kweli? So as we move along, we ask him now, go back to the conferences and ask him a simple question, Bwana Tony.
Yeah.
On conferences, Finding Work Conferences.
Okay.
are there challenges that you have ever met, and how do you mitigating them?
Well, excellent question. Basically, the whole idea is the whole reason of making the Finding Work conferences free was so that we reach as many youths as possible.
Yes.
But then, unfortunately, I see a very low motivation in the space of youth who are interested in this kind of convergence, because here we are bringing very many I would say mentors on board to talk to you at no cost. But then at times you have a scenario where the turn up is not very promising, because the whole idea is we are on a journey to help thousands of youth access opportunity. And you see, it starts with the initiative. For example, the challenge I was bringing where you tell some youth that this is technically a not charged session, and then somebody tells you, sorry, currently I live in Kayole, I don't have bus fare to come to town. So it starts to beat logic, because you're seeing a person.
It shows you that there's lack of initiative
exactly
from the person's side, because from Kayole, I want to get to CBD. I only need around 1.5 hours. I'll simply walk, not even whatever. I'll just stroll. It's around it's a what? It's a 11 kilometer stretch.
Exactly.
Yeah. So and the road is so clean and it's flat and it's nicely paved, because this is one time where probably from the year 2018. I think 2018, 2019 or 2020 there.
Okay.
The whole Jogo Road has now a walking pavement. You can walk on the side of the road. I'm a jogger, so I know. You can walk all the way without any deterrence, without any obstruction. You will get to town on foot. So why somebody should tell you have given him a life chance, you have created for him a confluence of opportunities, and he tells you now the only missing thing, he needs bus fare to come to town.
It starts to beat logic. Yeah,
Ladies
it's tough,
and gentlemen,
yeah.
it's important. Much as we took on a coach hapa, talk also to your dependents. If you are a guardian and umeona mtoto amemaliza shule na amependa tu kukaa, much as we introduce them to this nini, look at his initiative. He must have some drive. He must have some determination. He must have that willingness to go the extra mile. Kama kuna bus fare, tembea up to town. Yeah, walk to town and come back in the evening. What's the big deal? Wear your sport shoes. That day you don't have to wear very formally. Wear a tracksuit and your sport shoes, and you'll go. Because if joggers can do it by 9 o'clock on a Saturday, I can do it very easily, running back and forth. Now, what will stop a young man who has nothing else to do from morning to evening to get to town? So he just needs to time himself and say, at this time I'll get to whatever, and he should be able to do that.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Simbanet Radio, Sauti ya Mwananchi. Our numbers 0728091656. Tuko hapa tuna interview Bwana Winston Eboy, and Bwana Winston Eboy, for the sake of the session we are entering to, is that he is telling us about what he does, and we have now therefore requested him to give us his phone number.
0726 571 772. Yes,
that is quite in order. So you can always get in touch with him, even as we were doing the conversation, and I'm sure that he'll be glad to take you on, to take you through, so that you understand the process and understand how you can onboard a relative, because that is what Stimbanet stands for. If only we get 3 people on board, somebody who was doing nothing, but as a result of conversation gets on board of whatever kind of work, then our function and our purpose would have been useful. Ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana Simbanet Radio. Tunaendelea na conversations. Ya kwanza tumemaliza on conferences. Now on the
storytelling masterclass.
The storytelling masterclass.
Yeah, that's
what you took us through, which will be moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Around. And previously you must have done some or you have already moved somewhere?
We actually within the Nairobi edition,
The
2025.
Nairobi, yes.
Yeah, so now for 2026 we want to do a grassroots to national level,
yes.
starting with Vihiga,
yes.
then go to Kisumu, go to Kakamega, go to Eldoret, in that order, so that we end back in Nairobi in September.
Okay.
Yes.
And this one you think is going to be paid for?
Not really. I think that technically is a paid for.
It's a paid for.
Yeah, exactly. So what is technically happening here is we have people who are like very inclined towards building their personal brands.
Yes.
And as I said, storytelling masterclass is technically an opportunity for you to network, have a full day immersion in storytelling, get to understand what's your story and what does your identity represent, package yourself, and then get to know how can you monetize your brand even as you move into the future, because the future of work, as I said, is anchored on the power of you telling your story powerfully. Yes.
Storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Storytelling. I like that storytelling. Tell us more about storytelling.
Well, now storytelling technically is different things for different people.
Yeah.
What we are doing right now is storytelling, but that is there technically in a form that is known to Uncle Sam over here.
Okay.
But then there's always different ways to tell your story.
Yeah.
The excellent thing, or rather the easiest way to look at storytelling is to understand the generations. Understand the generations from all the way from the silent generation to baby boomers, to Xers, to millennials, to Gen Zs right now, going into the alpha and the beta. You'll understand all these people will tell their stories differently. For example, my grandfather, who would basically fall in the silent generation, the idea was they would communicate through smoke signal.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So something has happened, you have to light a fire, smoke goes up, somebody has to see that smoke and they have to interpret. So the idea
through different generations and so on and so
exactly, and it keeps changing. So I keep joking a lot with my Catholic friends that they still practice smoke signals. Remember when they were choosing the new pope?
The new pope, they always have to go to some
exactly.
conclave, and
They
then
told us white.
Your motto ikiwaka, be patient.
Yeah, you see white, you see black. We have a pope, you don't have a pope.
You don't have a pope.
So that looks like something that will be done in the 1900s.
Yes.
Yeah, but then fast forward, that has shifted to now where we have social media.
Yes.
And for example, on 3rd January, when the US went for Maduro in Venezuela, we technically immediately had those news even before they were on television.
Before they were, it was already on the social media.
Exactly. So it technically tells you, me and you, we are living in a very interesting time where information flows very fast, and we have the advantage.
The media houses have to catch up.
Exactly.
They have to keep on running to catch up with the story.
It's social fast.
It's always just going there and jumping from one point to another.
Exactly. So that tells you are like, that's a very powerful tool for storytelling. But then the gap normally comes in where people don't even know what story to tell. It becomes a challenge. And that's why we exist at the Brand Coach Network, to technically help you curate the kind of story you're telling to the world and make it meaningful to you, your brand, and the kind of impact you want to create. So that's technically the whole conversation around storytelling. And that's why, as I say, we are built on storytelling. We will teach you storytelling. Storytelling would become technically what would save you in 2026 and beyond. Yes.
Great. For one session of storytelling, say for example you have done one chapter in Nairobi here, you have chosen to do second one in Vihiga. I'm just wondering, also out of curiosity, why did you choose Vihiga?
Well, it's interesting. There is that thing that says charity begins from home, but people would see, people would look at it from the fact that so this guy chooses Vihiga because, but then there is a lot of story to it. First and foremost, even before storytelling masterclass began, there's something else we were working on, which is technically a different program that maybe I can just brush through if you allow me.
It's okay.
So the first program is what's called career counseling centers. So we are technically planting career counseling centers across schools, cutting from primary to university to post-university.
Oh, really?
Exactly. So that is something mega, works in the pipeline. So the pilot technically happened in Vihiga County. So that's why for some reason Vihiga...
Oh, so to some extent the ground is more prepared.
Exactly.
Vihiga and so on.
They're already ready for this conversation, and that's why naturally we had to start from there, even as we map upwards. grassroots.
Okay.
And then when you listen very carefully on the trajectory that I'm creating from Vihiga to the world, you realize I'm talking about Kisumu. Kisumu represents what would be the Nyanza province, rather Nyanza block. And then when I talk of Kakamega, Kakamega represents what would be the western region.
Yes.
And then when I talk about Eldoret, Eldoret would represent what would be the Rift Valley.
Yes.
Then when I talk about Machakos, Machakos would represent eastern. And then when I talk about Nyeri, Nyeri represents central. When I talk about Mombasa, Mombasa represents the coast region.
Yes.
And then when I come back to talk about Garissa, Garissa represents the northeastern region. When I talk about Nairobi, Nairobi represents Nairobi where we are. So it's technically a trip around the country. Yes. And then another initiative centered and anchored on that is what is called community empowerment centers. We are also planting community empowerment centers across the country, anchored on the same trajectory. Community empowerment centers, for example, my mother would cater for us technically through the power of chamas.
That is true.
So now, community empowerment centers is giving structures to chamas.
Okay.
Very many women are taking care of their families through chamas, but then they don't have structure.
Yes.
So the Brand Coach Network through Community Empowerment Center is building on giving them structures so that they can scale beyond the spaces where they are
Where
in.
they are operating.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. We expect almost a revolution to come out of this thing initiative.
So we pray apparently, and this is technically anchored on partnerships.
Yes.
So if you're out there and you feel this conversation fits into the kind of things you would want to do, welcome on board. Let's put our synergies together as we grow that conversation.
As we grow the conversation.
Yes, so I've technically had the chance to take you through the career counseling centers, the
Yes.
community empowerment center.
Yes.
Shally had talked about finding work conferences, and then we talked about Brand Coach storytelling masterclass. And then that now leads me to the next convergence, which is what we are doing called county to county youth employability sessions. So for county to county youth employability sessions, we are technically rolling out a call for action to county governments to partner with us so that we can take storytelling to youth where they are in the grassroots. Again, we naturally start the conversation from Vihiga as we come back to Nairobi, but then this is not limited on our program.
Yes.
If you're out there in your county and you feel the youth of your county would want to hear this conversation before everybody else, reach out to us through the number that's been provided, and let's have that conversation for you and your county. Yes.
That is county to county youth.
Yeah, employability sessions. Yeah, exactly. So it's technically just us having a conversation, a candid conversation, like big brother talk with the youth at the county level.
Yes.
Get to understand what kind of challenges do they face in their quest for employability, and then get to prescribe what kind of solutions would be available in their own space, even before they get external help, and then get to help them write their story in a way that's rewarding to them and for them. Yes.
That's good.
And then in connection to that, there is something that I do once every week. It's technically done virtually every Wednesday. It's called ATA. ATA is Ask the Brand Coach Anything Branding. So you have a full session on Google.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can always plug in because it's not charged, it's for free. You can always ask when is the next one is happening, and then you are free to join in. We have conversations around personal brand storytelling and other factors around the future of work.
Okay.
Yes.
That happens when?
Every Wednesday between
Wednesday.
8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's an accommodative time because at that time I believe most of you are settling at home relaxed, so you can tune in, ask your questions, they are answered by experts, and then you're good to go. Yes.
That is good. That is good. Now, I was saying we are seeing Brand Coach Network doing wonderful things. To what extent has government helped you to achieve the objectives of this organization?
Okay, well, I want to believe I'm protected, but sometimes talking about government, you have to be very
You have to be very careful.
You have to be very, very careful.
Because,
But anyway, since we are not into anything illegal,
yes,
I'll still feel free to talk to government. So initially, And this is very key for
Yes.
for most people. There is the aspect of social proof.
Yes.
So we technically told ourselves, what can we do with what we have where we are going forward?
Yes.
So that technically involves us exploiting everything within our reach and merit, even as we reach out to partnerships, for instance. So at this point in time, I might say we have directly not linked up with the government, but then our gates are open. We really want that support so that we can conjoin the efforts and technically go to higher heights.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm always think of government only when I would say government or development partners.
Yeah, exactly. Government development,
development
partners, yeah,
partners.
institutions,
Yes.
etc. Even churches,
Yes.
places of convergence,
Yes.
areas
Guys
where
will
exactly.
support your budget so
Yeah.
that they call what your destiny helpers.
Yeah, exactly.
That as you move along,
Yep.
as you move with a big dream, and that dream happens also to be to some extent philanthropic.
Yep.
And philanthropic means you make minimal profits.
Exactly.
You are not for profit.
Yeah.
So say for example, if you are putting charges, you are just looking at minimum to be able to get something for the coaches, minimum to be able to book halls,
Yeah.
minimum to be but you see that can be revamped so much if there are several development partners.
Exactly.
That can be empowered so much if there is an organization here, the government probably says, okay, fine. But and sometimes it's so sad for us because the other day I was just looking like even this our local county, the county government, Nairobi County,
Yeah.
and you looking at the kind of funding they get from organizations like Danida and whatever for capacity building, for trainings, and so on and so on.
Okay.
It runs into billions.
Apparently, yes.
It runs into billions.
Yeah.
And given that for them there is no structure because once it's there, it's either going to be eaten or do some sham. They call it what? Public participation, where where people don't feel the impact of that public participation.
Yeah. Sometimes it looks like
The
public
outcome-
performance.
Yes, it's like public performance.
Yes.
The outcome was already decided long before people entered the hall.
Exactly.
So you look at the person and you say, hey, have you come to get our views in order to go do this thing, or you had already decided on what you want to do?
You just want to
Where you
rubber stamp.
Now you want me to just rubber stamp the whole thing.
Exactly.
You did it for me last year. Again, you are doing it for me this term, this year. You find that participation is always to the minimum. We are putting this conversation, and it's good people are listening to us. Anybody can listen to Simbanest. We are putting those in power. See how to support these small organizations. Because these small organizations will be an alternative to what is going through the mainstream. The mainstream sometimes is too clogged.
Very.
And if it's too clogged, that is where you find that funding is coming in and nothing much is seen. Funding is coming in and nothing. I'm really sympathizing with the position President Donald Trump has taken of instead of the funding now will come from government to government instead of from the American government to USAID and then to NGOs to whatever. Because the problem is government to government. Government to government is the normal aids and grants which you have been giving them for years, dog years.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that now once it's filtered into that government, that money, if that government is investing the proper way, it will be invested in the right way.
Yeah.
But if that government is notorious for investing in the wrong way, then even this other extra money is going to be wasted in the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
The reasoning behind previous U.S. administrations creating organizations like you said, so that money leaves the government, goes to third-party organizations, which then trickle this money again into the country through third parties.
Yeah.
Basically NGOs and CBOs and whatever, was so that it's because you see our rule, our current constitution is only when you want to win an election, it's only you need only 50 plus one person.
Yeah.
You need 50% plus 1%.
Plus
People
1%.
normally think of 50 plus 1 is equal to 51%. No, it's not 51%. You don't have to struggle for 51%.
Exactly, yeah, it's a very
Once you hit the 50%, then you just need one
an
man.
extra one. Yeah,
One person.
You are in.
That means
Yeah.
that 49.9999% is lying outside there, which is
Exactly.
not on the government.
Yes.
And these people now will have to wait patiently for 5 years, or for 10 years, or for 20 years.
Yeah, in most cases, it's above 10 years.
It's above 10 years.
Yes.
Eh?
At
And
least.
until they get to power.
Yes.
That also does not erode now the tendency of people to say cling to power, because once you get power, then you get everything. But the alternative which was being created by NGOs, there are some support which comes through NGOs and so on, through USAID and the ETCC, but coming from the main US government instead of other donor agencies.
Yeah.
The advantage of that was these organizations are always on the disenfranchised areas, areas which probably majority of them are not very wealthy, majority of them don't have resources, and so on and so on.
Exactly.
And this now maybe areas which are also the strongholds of opposition, the people who never managed to make it to what? The government.
Government, yeah. The one who be told you are not shareholders.
The ones who will be told you are not shareholders, so you have nothing
on
Yeah.
table.
So,
Yeah.
or wait patiently for the next 10 years until you become shareholders. That space is now being narrowed down. So we are looking forward that, and we are optimistic that organizations will hear of this conversation we are having with you,
Yeah.
and will be focusing on empowering organizations such as yours.
Okay.
And while we are at it,
Yeah.
a simple question, because we have looked now at three things.
Yeah.
But one major thing which we have not outlined is, what is your organization structure? How many people are you? Because I
Okay.
can see you are operating in the spaces of Nairobi. There's also something that you are expecting to do in Vihiga, and so on and so on. And so on.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so our structure is very structured, to say the least.
That's okay.
So we have a global advisory board led by one able guy based in the UAE called Ali. Then he is the chief of strategy,
Yes.
and then we have 4 guys at the global board, 4 guys at the African board, and then 4 guys at the national board. And then after that we have the C-suite. The C-suite has a leadership of 5 individuals, which is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. We have the CTO, Chief Technology Officer. We have the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. We have the COO, Chief Operating Officer. And then we have the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So, and then after that, below the C-suite, we have 6 brand managers. So the 6 brand managers technically take charge of our different initiatives. And then below them, we have 6 project managers. And then below the 6 project managers, we have 6 sales leads. So that technically concentrates the larger team. But then at every level of operation,
Yes.
we have individuals on freelance basis, where when we have a project to executing, say for example in Vihiga,
Yes.
we have a freelance team that will technically help us with that execution up to until when we are done, and then it's disbanded until the next project comes through. So that would speak into our structure.
Yeah, but
But then
that's
this
smart,
structure is not limited, it's technically still growing.
Yes.
So if you're out there and you feel there's something you can play to the structure, feel free to come on board. Let's see how we can collaborate.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great, because that gives opportunity for you to outsource labor, especially in forms of volunteers.
Yeah, exactly.
To come and fill the gap.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
From where we are,
Yep.
we are running to 44 minutes. That gives us only 15 minutes to go.
Oh, okay.
And that tells us that now you start telling us of where do you want to go?
Okay.
What is your vision?
Okay, the future is boundless. We have come from far, I would say, but then we are going far again. So we are anchored on the concept that we're supposed to create 10,000 unique brands
10,000.
Yes, over the next 10 years, so that we can impact 1 billion lives globally.
Yes.
So 1 billion lives is our like rally course. So technically that's the kind of journey we are on right now. So if you're out there and you feel there's somewhere you feel, because the whole concept is one brand becomes a multiplier. The moment you become a brand, you technically would employ another person below you, and that creates a ripple effect. That's technically where we are. And then our next phase of growth, right now we are working on 2.5 years web application platform development, which should be live in the next 4 months on the max. So for that web platform, we welcome you out there to come on board as a subject matter expert, so that you can technically help us on our scaling journey. We are also on a journey to have physical presence across the country. That would be starting from Vihiga through the regions that I have mentioned, and then we also want to expand this conversation across Africa. So we've mapped out 5 regions in Africa, which is North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, and then we have at least a representation in all these spaces. And then our third growth layer technically is global. Again, we've mapped out 5 spaces across the globe, speaking of Europe, America, Latin, Asia, and Africa being our home. So technically that's our trajectory. But then right now, however, we're building what's called the SME school. The SME school is subject matter expert. So if you're out there and you feel like you have some expertise, you can come on board. We can technically absorb you in one of our many programs that we have, so that you help us scale as you help yourself grow. So that technically will be a quick picture of our major steps going forward. But also, just so that I don't forget, this year in particular I am big on publishing. Ambition, which is my pioneer book, is out there in the shops. So always feel free to reach out for a copy, so that at least you can have these conversations from page to page. Yes.
You already have a book.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is done, yeah?
Yes.
It's called what?
Ambition. Ambition is technically the startup mindset. It's technically you having conversations with yourself. The way people say kujikalisha mkutano.
Yes.
So you technically look at yourself and ask yourself, what are you made for?
Yes.
What are you made of?
Yes.
And then what can you offer the world? Yes, so that's the kind of conversation you'll have with that book. Yes.
What did it take to make that book?
Yeah, well, Ambition would technically be me giving you my coaching strategies, because technically being in the space of coaching, so those would be like my systems, the ones that I have been exploring with my clients over the past, I would say 6 to 7 years. So technically grounded in a small book, so that you can technically read through and decide for yourself if you want to come on board or not and stuff. Yes.
So that is what you did.
Yeah, exactly. So that small book would really save you the very many questions, because most people, when it comes to the concept of coaching in particular, especially in Africa, people are yet to come at peace with the conversation of they need coaching. People think of the way you just think of health. Our health is curative more than preventive.
Yes.
People only go to hospital when eventually they are sick, and then they are looking for treatment. But in reality, you're supposed to go to hospital whether you are sick or not, just so that you prevent the whole disease from coming through. So same thing for coaching. You might need coaching on a day-to-day basis, because coaching unlocks a very big potential of yourself. For me to become a coach, I had to speak to very many coaches. So their kind of strategies help me build the concept that I'm building with the Brand Coach Network.
Oh.
Yes.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did the book. Did it take you a lot of time? I want to hear the story. Did it take you a lot of time? You sit quietly in the evenings and do it? What would happen?
Well, by the nature of me being the brand coach,
Yes.
I technically revolve around capacity building.
Yeah.
So the story behind the book is interesting, because it dates back from the days when I was in high school. I tried to do a book, but then driven especially by naivety, I didn't really know what technically goes into it. So I even walked to what is currently Moran Publishers. Back then it was called Macmillan Publishers. So the whole idea was looking forward to them publishing my book. So they stayed with my manuscript for like almost 6 months, and then later they called me and told me, unfortunately, we shall not move to the next step. So that kind of
after wasting
exactly
6 good months.
So that kind of killed my morale around it. But then I told myself, you know what, I have to go back to the drawing board. This dream is deferred, but not
it's not fulfilled.
Exactly. So I put it on hold, and then I had to build capacity first. And then fast forward the whole of 2024, I took a break from Nairobi and went to live in Garissa to just write that book. So I would say that is the best thing that came from the conversations I had with my guys in Garissa. Yes.
Or you just stayed with them there, and now you had the peace of peaceful environment.
Exactly.
You could spend time to do. That was which year?
That is end of 2024, start of 2025. Yes.
So just sat with them and so on and so on.
Exactly. So I would technically just come to Nairobi to visit, go back, relax, do my book, come back, show. And as I said, I have other books in the pipeline, so watch out.
Yes. You want them to watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are more books.
The next big thing. Yep.
The next big thing.
The next big thing.
That's the book which is coming now, sooner or later.
Very soon.
I see. Any experiences that you've had, probably the coaches that is working under you or whatever, any challenge that you have seen?
As I said, the main challenge technically would be African. We are yet to embrace coaching as a must-have. We are looking at it from the position of something nice to have. But I want us to shift the conversation to it being a must-have. So that would go a long way. But then that would be the main challenge. But then so far so good. The culture is picking up, and you see with the culture picking up, there's a massive mindset shift, and it's for the better. So I would say so far so good. In the coming days, we're headed in the best trajectory. Yes.
Any challenges, just before we close the discussion, any challenges that you have had now globally that you probably want to highlight?
Okay, I would say not to look at it as a challenge per se, rather would just be some sort of comment, because I deal a lot with the founders ecosystem, and I have realized majorly most startups are struggling because of lack of structure.
The challenge is lack of structure.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're out there and you're a startup, don't just keep introducing yourself as a person who runs a small business. No. Start to introduce yourself as a person who is out to run a unicorn. So you can always reach out. Let's have a conversation around how you can structure yourself and your brand, so that going forward, growth is guaranteed and scalability is also guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
That is beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony with us, Simba Nest Radio. We are still giving one chance, and we're giving you also one chance as he talks. If you have any pressing question, let us see it on the WhatsApp. If it's not there, then for another day. Tony, is there any few remarks that you want to make as we close?
Okay, so maybe the only other thing I would say, most people ask me, how did you get here? But then I only have one word answer, which is storytelling. For example, how did I even start to create structure around the Brand Coach Network? Most of the people who came on board, especially at the advisory level, we just started with a story, a comment on LinkedIn, a DM on Facebook, etc., and then we created a relationship. Fast forward to see us seeing symbiotic presence in our brands, and then us collaborating. So yeah, your story technically would save you in 2026 and beyond.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great. My parting shot, Tony, is there is a lot of demand for what you do.
Thank you.
But unless you take your walking stick and beat the grass, in these small estates that we're having around, you will never know there's demand for that.
Exactly.
You will never be able to get the right audience for your subject body. So my request is that you walk around and meet people.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to the end of the program today, the Brand Coach Network, which you have seen there. Fantastic logo. We'll be having them conversation again and again and again. So be prepared for more questions, with more questions on the next environment. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.